Welcome to the Learning Management System organized by Department of College and Technical Education, Government of Karnataka. This is the fourth session of the first unit, Introduction to Project Management of the subject Project Management and Evaluation. So in this session, I am going to cover the following contents. The session starts with organization, followed by principles of organization, types of organization structures, and followed by an MCQ test. What is organization? An organization is nothing but a set of people who are working in the industry and they are having a common goal and a common intent to achieve. That is, an organization can be defined as a group of persons united to achieve a common goal. That is, what is the common goal? If you are constructing a building, then the finishing of the building is the common goal. If you are into a highway project, the finishing of road in all respects is the common goal. If you are building a tunnel project, finishing of the tunnel is the common goal. That is the common goal for all the persons. Okay, the hierarchy may include so many people, and also the responsibilities also may differ from the lower level to the higher level, but all the people are having a common goal that the building has to be structured, has to be completed within time, within the cost, and within the budget. Okay, and also the responsibilities will be defined and the relationship will be established with each other employed in the organization. That is called an organization. The responsibilities means almost the all the diploma engineers who are passing out will be going into the field and they be designated as site engineer or site supervisor, and they will be reporting to senior engineer, and the senior engineer will be reporting to the project manager. Project manager will be reporting to the chief engineer. So like that, the every person will be reporting to another person, and he is responsible for some work which he will be assigned. So there will be a relationship between every designation or every person who are employed in that organization. So the basic principles of organization, the first and foremost is the objective. Okay, the objective has to be clearly defined. Okay, in the organization means it must be clearly defined for the entire enterprise for each department. Okay, and even for each position in the organization structure. So like that, there are plenty of departments in the construction industry. It may be quality control or quality assurance department, stores management department, site execution department, billing department. So each and every department has got its own responsibilities, and each and every department has to coordinate with each other for establishing a position in the organization structure. Like that, you can see here the engineers are checking the reinforcement. These site engineers are holding a bar bending schedule, and they are going to check the spacing of the reinforcement bars, and also they are checking the diameter of the bars, and they are checking the cover, and they are checking the level of the shuttering. So here there is one more picture called, he is called as quality control and quality assurance, where whatever the concrete that has to be put into the site will be tested in the labs. Okay, so here the site engineer is little less bothered to quality compared to the quality engineer, because he is these engineers are into the progress of the project, the pace of the project, to accelerate the pace of the project. When the project is being accelerated and there are chances of reduction in the quality, so in order to control that, there is one more department that is established called as the quality department, and the reinforcement bars that are being placed here, before it is being used in the site, it has to be tested in the lab. That is, we are going to do some basic tests, bend and rebend test, and the yield stress of steel, proof strength of steel, we are going to check. Only after that it will be allowed to execute in the site. So see, these site engineers should take the consent of the quality engineer before every material that will be used in the site has to be cleared from the quality department. So these two departments are two different professionals or two different designations that has to coordinate with each other for the completion of the project. Second principle is specialization. Effective organization must include specialization. So in every organization, there are different, as I told you, different departments: quality department, site department, billing department. Because he is the this is his site engineer, and she is maybe billing engineer. Okay, she is checking the measurements and the spacing, and she is recording it in the paper for the billing of the material that is being used. This is quality department. So each and every person is specialized in their own area for with a common intent, with a common objective, with a common goal. And here one more department, that is survey department. The survey department is less bothered about the quality and also about the progress of the site. He is only bothered about the marking of the building, about the marking of the columns, about the verticality of the structure, about the levels of the different floors. So this is one more department, and this department is less concerned with the quality department. This department will be coordinating more with the site department. So specialization is very important in an organization. Every person will be having a different skill set, different strength that has to be explored. So the coordination is a very important, because here there is one activity that is being conducting, that is block masonry. Here you can see the structure, the housekeeping has been completed by the site team, and these blocks has to be compulsorily get tested in the quality lab. That is, the compressive strength of the blocks has to be done before being used in the site. So the coordination means the quality and the site engineer, both of them have to coordinate prior before this activity will be constructed. And a survey engineer will come and check the line, site engineer will check the marking or the dimensions of the rooms. So, and also survey guy, site engineer will check the quality, the verticality of the structure when the wall is being raised, about the openings in the rooms. So these three people will have to coordinate with each other, and also he has to coordinate with contractor also. And there is one more designation that will be entered, that is called a safety manager. Okay, the safety engineer will take care of the safety of the persons, that is whether the person has wear safety helmets and safety shoes, if he is working above 1 meter height, whether he has wore the safety belts. So different departments has to coordinate within itself, okay, for achieving a common goal. Responsibility. Authority should be equal to responsibility. So in the construction industry, since an independent freedom will be given to the engineers, okay, here site engineer, when he is going to execute the job, he will be reporting to the senior engineer. Okay, this site engineer will be doing the marking, okay, and will be responsible for the block masonry that is being done here. If the person is using the blocks, lesser strength blocks or poor blocks, then quality engineer will be held responsible that why he has allowed these blocks into the site, because the compressive strength of the blocks is not good. So the authority of the should be equal to responsibility. Responsibly the engineer should act in the site. So the clear unbroken line of authority. The line of authority flows from the highest executive to the lowest managerial level, and the chain of command should not be broken. The chain of command means the network of the different professionals should be interlinked to each other, such that He has to be accountable and he has to be responsible for whatever the works he is being executed by the manpower. Okay, here in this picture we can see this shuttering activity is going on. Here these three professionals, that is site engineer, a site supervisor and the shuttering carpenter, are coordinating with each other for checking their, they may be checking the beam widths or beam depths, they may be checking the thickness of the slab, they are checking the length and width of the rooms, so like that. So whatever the mistakes that will be done will be actually identified. It has to be understood for the hierarchy that where the mistake has come, and the senior most person will be having the topmost position, the one with good experience, and like that the it will grow from lower to the higher order. Okay, so every professional has to be commanded by the superior to be accountable and responsible. At least there should be having a clear, unbroken line of authority. Delegation. The decision should be made at the lowest competent level. Authority and responsibility should be delegated at the lowest level of organization. So when the project is coming up, the higher management levels will be involved in a will be having two or executing three or two or three projects at a time, and also the lowermost level, that is the site engineer or site supervisors, they are coordinating with the workers and the coordinators. So they will be taking the very more decisions compared to the higher level. Okay, since the lower level will be involved in the working in the site every moment or every hour, there may be some challenges in the site, then the lower level authority will be given freedom to take the decision. So the authority and responsibility will be given to the lowest level of the organization. The unity of command is also one more principle. Each person should be accountable to a single superior, that is one superior or one boss and one subordinate. So if you consider a small house will be constructed in 30-40 site, the mestri, what we will call, will be constructing, will be directly reporting to the engineer. Engineer will be reporting to the owner of the site. So each person will be accountable. If the mestri has done some mistake in the site about the, it may be the quality of concrete, he is responsible to the engineer. Okay, then engineer will be responsible to the owner, because owner may ask, you are going to do the poor quality job. So like that, each and every person will be accountable to a superior subordinate. Span of management. No superior at a higher level should have more than 6 immediate subordinates. So it is scientifically proved that one person at a time can manage 6 subordinates at a time. So more than 6, he will be inefficiency will be proved. So immediately below the superior level, 6 maximum 6 designations or departments will be given to the superior level. There should be adaptable to changing circumstances. It should not be rigid or flexible. So the structure should not be rigid. For example, let us say the concreting work has to be conducted tomorrow, and today the materials, the basic materials that will be used for concrete is cement, aggregate and sand. These three materials has to be tested in the quality department. Sometimes what happens is the availability of materials will not be there in the site. So tomorrow morning itself the material may come, and the quality person should go and attend to the material, and he has to act according to the directions of the site engineer. She should coordinate with them, and in sometimes in the absence of quality engineer, the site engineer has to take the initiation and has to check the materials in the material testing lab. So the one organization, one designation is not strict to one. For example, a surveyor is not only strict to the marking job, you should have the ability to take the construction job also. So like that, there has to be some flexibility in the organization. A good communication subsystem is essential for smooth flow of information and understanding and for effective business performance. So basically, in a construction industry, communication plays a very important role. Okay, because suddenly there may be a chances of change in the drawing. That change has to be communicated from the consultant, from the architect to the contractor, and ultimately reach to the worker who is working in the site. Like that, block masonry work is going on. If there is a sudden change in the wall, then that has to be reach the worker in the faster manner, so that the reworks should be avoided. So a good communication should be established. Organization structure must encourage the management development program and also ensure optimum use of human resources. Okay, so there is one saying in English that the more cooks spoil the soup. Even if we are going to accommodate more person, also there will be in a that project may not be successful. Even if there is lesser people, also the project net will be not be successful. So there should be optimum use of human resource for avoiding conflicts between two departments. A good organization involves precise and systematic distribution of work and responsibilities between managerial and administrative group. There should be communicating between the administration and managerial. There will be regular meetings that will be happening between the administration and the managerial group about the developments in the site, about the changes that should be incorporated to for the successful completion of the project. So these are the different principles of organization. Now, if you have made a good organization, if you have made a good hierarchy, then there are a lot of advantages. It increases cooperation and a feeling of freedom. When the lowermost engineer will be given a drawing to execute a job, he will be having a highest independency, or he will feel the highest freedom in executing the job, because he will be commanding to the workers. That is one good advantage in this organization system. It prevents duplication of work, because when one work is allotted to one person, he will be accountable and responsible to the person. No another person will be interfering in that, because the superior level will ask the people who are at the down level. So it prevents the duplication of work. It makes communication easier, because if there is a sudden change in the drawing, then whom to communicate, that will be easier. If there is a requirement that the compressive strength of the block has to be increased, straightly there will be communication to the quality. Okay, that will not be concerned with the site team. So since the designations has been given based on their skill set and specialization, and the communication will be little easier. It shows promotional possibilities, as the engineers will be given independent freedom regarding the progress, and regarding their efficiency will be clearly judged by the superior level for the promotional possibilities. It minimizes conflict between the individuals. Since one work has been given to one person, there will be lesser conflict. Otherwise, if one area has been given to two engineers, there will be a ball passing system. Means this engineer may complain that I have not done this, he has directed it. So, for avoiding that, a good organization will be providing a lesser conflict between the individuals. It provides a sound basis for performance appraisal and merit rating. Okay, as there is the one, since the designations has been clearly mentioned and scope of work also clearly mentioned for those designations, about their boundaries, about their job. So every day the assessing of their performance could be easy. The site engineer's performance will be assessed by how he is coordinating with the quality department and stores department, and also how he is allotting the work to the workers. He is not letting them idle, and whatever the management has given, because before starting of the project, a breakup plan, a working plan will be given to him regarding the dates of completion for the slabs or the floors. So this provides a platform for him to explore it. In the same manner, the quality person, there will be auditing from the owner side about the quality audits that will be conducted, about the testing of the materials for how many bricks, how many blocks he is testing, because IS says for one load of bricks around 6 to 9 blocks has to be tested, and for every 5 cubic meter 3 cubes has to be made and tested. So as per Indian standards, whether the quality engineer is performing or not, this will be obtained by suitable documents, because those quality reports are always documented in the lab. So this provides a sound basis for the appraisal of his performance. So based on this, the organization structures are divided into three types. The first one is line or military organization. Second one is line and staff organization. Third one is functional organization. So the line or military organization is a very simplest type of organization in which the responsibility is distributed from top to bottom. Here, the construction organization is not divided into departments. In spite, the hierarchy comes from top to the bottom. Means that every person has should have a all skill set of the engineering. So this is the typical flowchart for this. The chief project manager is the superior for this project. He will be commanding to the chief engineer. So the chief engineer will be responsible for, will be given residential engineer 1 and residential engineer, and residential engineer there will be assistant engineer, and an assistant engineer will be junior engineer. Junior engineer will be foreman. The foreman is also called as the person who is going to maintain the workers. There are various types of foremen: bar bending, shuttering, and masonry, plastering. And these persons will be reporting to junior engineer for any kind of details. This junior engineer will be reporting to the junior engineer, will be executing the job. He is reporting to the assistant engineer. Assistant engineer will be reporting to the residential engineer, where the chief project manager plans the completion dates. He will be having a coordination with the owners or consultants, and this chief engineer is the responsible for site, maybe site activities, billing activities, quality activities. So this will be completely distributed at the bottom. Here you can see one person will be held responsible for the topmost person will be major responsible for the successful or failure of the project. The advantages of this type of organization is the command and control is very effective. It is simple to work and easily understood by the employees. Responsibilities at all levels are definite and fixed. Facilitates quick decision making, and responsibility for any mistakes can be easily fixed. But the disadvantage is communication from the lower level to the top management is very much handicapped. Top executive and key men may be overloaded. You can see, so here the foreman or the junior engineer is nowhere connected to the top level executive. Okay, so whatever the problems he is facing in the site, he has to report to the assistant engineer. So there is no communication between the top executive level and the bottom executive level. But one advantage is the communication will be very easier, as it will be passing system subsequently, and also it is very easy to work. It's not, but it is a little rigid structure, I can say. Little rigidity is there, flexibility is lesser. So the another type of organization is a line and staff organization. In this type of organization, the topmost executive will take the decisions on the matters related to the project. So this is an updated version of line and military organization, where here the departments has been defined. There will be one design engineer, design team, architect team, finance, the budget making and the billing team, security team, admin team, and legal team. The design engineer means he is going to prepare structural drawings. Architect is going to prepare the architectural plans. The financial manager is will be mobilizing the funds for the site, and also they are receiving the bills from the owner. Security officer means, since the construction industry, a lot of costly materials will be involved, it has to be safeguarded, because the entry and exit of each and every vehicle has to be administered. An admin officer will be taking care of the salaries and the issues related to labors, the construction team. And a legal officer will be there for any violation in the breach of contract or agreement, or any cases, the legal officer will be handling those issues. So in this, the topmost executive will be the one person who will be commanding, and he is also given the responsibility of the site progress also. That is, residential engineers will be reporting to him directly. So the topmost person will be handling all these seven departments: design team, architect team. So he will be overloaded here. And further, the in the site team, the residential engineers are further relaxed by giving them the assistant engineers, junior engineers, and the working assistants. So in this type of organization also, it is dependable on one person at the top. That may prove little difficult for the construction industry, because he has to coordinate with the design team. The same person has to coordinate with the architect team. The follow-up becomes difficult. And there is advantages is, there is good combination of specialist services. Means the every specialization, every department has given a separate specialization, a set of people for dedicating them to one kind of work. Since the specialization will be given, the project will be executed better quality compared to the line and military organization. The line personnel can devote their entire time to achieve the targets of the project. That is, before starting any site activities, the drawings has to be prepared. So the architectural team and design team will be given a deadline: till this date you have to complete the drawings. So that target will be given to them, and once the release of drawings has been done, site team will be given the breakup of the execution of the project, and their targets will be fixed. And finance team, in order to have a smoother flow of the project without any hindrances by the finance, they will be given the targets that every month this amount of rupees billing should be done, this amount expenses will be done, the forecasting of the future months will be done, this target will be given to them. And for security team, avoiding the theft, and for entry and exit of those vehicles, and checking the reinforcement weight in a weighbridge. And administration team will be given the responsibility of the salaries to be given comfortably to those engineers, and to motivate them personally for checking the appraisals of them. The staff personnel carry out all the specialized work due to their skills and experience. So in this organization, the person or the engineer who is having the good skill or passion in that work will be allotted to him. Say for example, if a engineer is interested and he is doing good in estimation, he will be put into billing department. If a person is doing good coordination with the workers and he manages the people well, he will be put into the site team. If he is having a very good knowledge about the quality, Indian standards, the material standards, he will be allotted to the quality department. If a person is good in drafting in AutoCAD, he will be put into design team or architect team. Like that, the skill set will be defined. More job opportunities are provided. So disadvantages, there will be possibilities of conflict between line staff and functional staff. So what happens is, coming to the progress of the project, if the progress is little slower, then they are going to put it on design team or the architectural team that the drawings has not been submitted in time, and they may tell that the site team is lesser in progress, they are not accelerating the job. So like that, there will be a little conflicts, and the finance team is not supporting well. Staff personnel do not have direct authority to ensure these decisions, and here also there is lesser freedom to the personnel for taking any decisions. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of line and staff organization. The overhead costs will increase due to hiring the services of the specialized staff personnel. Here, the skill set of the person is identified and he has been dedicated to the only that job. There is chances of recruiting more people, okay, to the organization that may prove to be very costly in hiring the people. The third important organization is called as functional organization. So in this type of organization, here the work will be divided in such a way that each person has to perform a minimum number of functions. This type of organization permits highest discipline and control of any organizational concepts. So here, in the same manner what the line and staff organization has been done, the skill set will be identified. In addition to the skill set, other responsibilities will also be given to the same person, which proves to be little lesser in number of people in the organization, more responsibility with single person. So here the chief project manager will be there as a head of the project, and construction manager who is looking after all the activities like design, site development, site progress and architecture. Accounts manager will be directly dealing with the finance. So here the engineers will be controlled by the accounts team and also by the construction team. So this person will be reporting to both the team. So in spite of the progress of the site, he has to look after the billing and he has to look after the payments of the subcontractor. He has to prepare the bills. So in this manner, one person and more work with that principle, this functional organization has been done. That is, that engineer should perform a minimum number of functions. This is called functional organization. Here the advantage is the entire work is divided on the basis of functional specialization. So the efficiency will be increased and everyone is to maintain their own functional efficiency. The work is properly planned and distributed. The planning is separated from design work. Okay, here the design completely given to the outsource agency. So there it will be only site progress team. It helps in doing work as per specifications. Okay. So before doing the job, the estimate will be given to you, bill of quantities, there the set of specifications will be there. The person can comfortably execute the job as per specifications. So the disadvantage is the worker will receive too many instructions simultaneously, since he is commanded by the accounts manager, by the chief project manager and the chief engineer. Too many instructions simultaneously will make him little overloaded, and it is also in more chances he will be accountable rather than responsible, as he has to do the same job, two jobs at a time. It will be a difficult task for him. Coordination also becomes more difficult. The workers will not be allowed to use their skills because one person has to do is a multitasking, so he can't give dedicated time to the particular work, which proves to be little lesser efficient in exploring his skills. So these are the concepts about the organization, types of organization, their advantages and disadvantages. Now there will be a multiple choice question test. So the first question is, the group of persons united to achieve a common goal, defining the responsibilities and establishing the relationship with each other is called option A, designation, option B, organization, option C, functionality, and option D, coordination. The right answer is option B, organization. The main principle of an organization is option A, unit of command, option B, effective control at all levels, option C, delegation of authority, and option D, all of the above. The right answer is option D, all of the above. He has to maintain the delegation, he should be effective, there should be command. Military organization is also known as a line organization, line and staff organization, functional organization, and D, none of these. The right answer is option A, line organization, since the topmost person or the executive will be responsible and commanding, it is called as also military organization. Frederick W. Taylor introduced a system of working known as line organization, option B, functional organization, option C, line and staff organization, or option D, effective organization. The right answer is option A, line organization was introduced by Frederick W. Taylor. No superior at a higher level should have more than dash immediate subordinates, fill in the blanks, 4, option B 7, option C 5, and option D 6. Means higher superior level is having the ability of controlling this much amount of subordinates. The right answer is option D 6. The question number 6, identify the factors for efficient organization in the construction industry. Option A, developing a good communication system, delegation of responsibility, developing the structure for the organization, and option D, all of the above. The right answer is option D. There should be a good communication system, there should be delegation of responsibility, and also the structure also should be good. So the option D is the right answer. The most popular type of organization used for civil engineering is option A, line organization, option B, functional organization, option C, line and staff organization, and option D, none of these. Actually, in construction industry, there are chances of using functional organization, and nowadays it's a completely different set of organization will be used based on their skill set, and generally the line organization was preferred in the initial days. Modular coordination of construction means proper planning, designing, execution, and D, all of the above. The right answer is option D. For good coordination of construction, there should be good planning, the design should be cool, and also execution should be done with respect to the time and the budget. In this type of organization, the whole work is divided in such a way that each person has to perform a minimum number of functions. line organization, line and staff organization, functional organization, and option D, none of these. The right answer is option B, functional organization, where it has been defined with a minimum number of functions. The topmost executive who will take the decisions about the project in line and staff organization is option A, Chief Project Engineer, option B, Chief Project Manager, option C, Financial Manager, and option D, Construction Manager. The right answer is option B, Chief Project Manager. Thank you, one and all.